Across the Arab world, people are taking to the streets to vent their rage against their rulers. Here in Yemen, tens of thousands of protesters filled the capital Sana'a in a self-proclaimed day of rage, chanting no to corruption, no to dictatorship. Mindful of the unrest spreading elsewhere in the Arab world, President Ali Abdullah Saleh, who's been in power since 1978, attempted to appease the protesters by promising to leave office when his term ends in 2013. His supporters staged a counter-demonstration in Sana'a. Lutfi Shatara of the Yemeni news agency Aden Press says the anti-government protesters have taken their lead from Tunisia.
What happened in Tunisia? They give the people in the Middle East that believe in themselves.
That has prompted speculation of a domino effect spreading across the Arab world. Nadeem Shahadi is a Middle East analyst with Chatham House in London. His theory is that the dominoes began to fall way back in 2003.
I believe that the trigger for this is the fall of the statue of Saddam Hussein. This was a huge shock to the region. When this falls, it's a huge shock to the system, and it shows how vulnerable they are and that they're really an empty shell. So it demystified the whole model of these Arab dictatorships.
Shahadi says the extraordinary speed with which the uprisings have taken hold, first in Tunisia and now in Egypt, means President Obama's approach of engaging with Arab dictators and regimes seems out of date.
This was okay last week. Today it looks absurd. So they have to think, rethink, and adapt to whatever is changing on the ground.
The pace and scale of the changes have taken the international community by surprise. Lutfi Shatara warns that in Yemen, the West must react quickly.
If the international community does not take Yemen very seriously, and that should be other Somalia if it isn't worse than Somalia, because there are Al-Qaeda, there are differences, political differences, there are tribes, there are weapons, and they are in employment, and this will be more disaster than Cairo.
There have been demonstrations in support of the Egyptian protesters in Morocco and many other Arab countries. Among the demonstrators, there is a sense that momentum is building. Human rights activist Khalid Sefiani.
The Egyptian and Tunisian revolutions are two strong messages to all the leaders in the Arab and Muslim worlds that they should either bring back dignity to their own people and end the corruption, stop pillaging the wealth of their countries, torturing and not respecting the law, or meet the same fate as Egypt and Tunisia.
Analysts say Egypt is such a powerful player in the region that whatever happens there will impact on the future of the whole Arab world. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.